You can pause the video anytime you need. 你可以随时按下暂停键。Hello everyone, welcome to Apollo School Online. This is a drawing that we're gonna do for today, and let's see what kind of tool you need for this class. Are you ready? Let's begin. Okay everyone, today we're gonna do the sketch. Alright, so let's see the paper. It's similar like the pencil crayon. We can use the same paper. So we can use the sketchbook, of course, because we are doing the sketch. And mixed media paper as well, right? And if you don't have any one of them, I would say printing paper is okay, but the better result will be on the sketchbook. Alright, so if you don't have any one of them, sketchbook or mixed media paper, you can use the printing paper for today. Alright, but I would say the better result will be on the sketchbook. Alright, so let's see the pencils. You can buy a case like that, so there has a bunch of the number, so we can have HB, FB, 2B, 3B, onto 6B, that's good enough. And H, 2H, 3H, 4H, and that's good enough. Alright, so pencil will look like that. Each pencil has their own number, so we will use different number to do the shading. Alright, that's our sketch pencils. And of course, we are not perfect. We will make a mistake, so we need to have the erasers, the good one, alright, not the cute one. We will use the sharpener all the time to keep the pencil look sharp, and we can shading them in neat and detailed work. Alright, the last thing, that's a special thing, we need to have the visible eraser. We can say that it's a soft eraser because we can shape it. It looks like the gummy. Alright, this eraser is good for the sketch because we can shape any to erase the detail that we need. Alright, so that's the last one, the soft eraser. If you don't have this one for today, it's okay. You can use the hard erasers, and if you have the chance, you can get what for next time. Alright, so that's everything. Now we can start to do our sketch for today. Okay, so we're gonna do the winter hat today, and we're gonna show the shadow and the textures. Alright, so again, you're gonna find your HB pencil, the regular pencil that you use for writing, for your homework. Alright, so HB pencil. Alright, so first of all, we have to do the layout, so make sure we can fit everything we want on the papers. Alright, so I want my hats a little bit folding on the bottom. Alright, don't make them too small. If you're having them too small, it's hard for you to add the textures, and it doesn't look pretty at the ends. Alright, the top. So I make sure the box, the folding part looks a little bit bigger. See, I do it very, very light. And I have a pom-pom on the top, so I just do the circle. Okay, so I done the layouts already. Alright, so I just make my heads right over here, then I can sign the name right here, so it will look balanced at the end. Alright, so after we done the layout, and we are not going to do the shapes yet, we will start to do the shading a little bit. Alright, so I just imagine the light is coming from the left top to the right bottom, so I will have most of the shadow on the right corner. So you will see I'm gonna shading everywhere with the same direction. See, I shading them over the hats. See, I push down my pencil and doing the hatching. So don't worry about dark, medium, light, just make the color look solid. So try to shade this as big as you could, just like the basic color. And color shading outside of the hats a little bit, a little bit at the bottom. That could be the shadow after. So which means I'll have more shadow on the right. Very smooth. Try your best to make the color with this when you're doing the shading, making them look like the same angle. Trying to, then you can make the color go very smooth. So one direction at the time. All right, now you can't really see my hats, but I fully cover the hat and I also color out of the hats. All right. All right, so when we finish the base color, which means I can switch the pencil. So I was using HB, and the next color I'm gonna use is 2B. All right, the 2B pencil is the popular pencil we will use most of the time. So we have the base color, we have to add in the shadow. All right, so let's see. I have the shadow right here a little bit. I try to color them with the same directions. So it will look like the C shape. See, I didn't make the color go too dark. Now I can separate the middle and the darker colors, right? Now you can see where is the light coming from. It's coming from here because I have the shadow on the right. All right, then we're gonna do the same thing for the bottom, the folding part. The shadow gonna be on the same place because they share the same light source. So now it looks very, very rough. We can't really see the detail, but now we only want to see the light, right? So we can see the lights coming from the left, right? Coming from the left because all of the shadow is on the right. And same thing for the pom-pom on the top. I'm gonna have the shadow on the right. All right, then we're done with the basic color. Then we're gonna change the pencil to 3B. Then we can start to do the outline and the detail and the textures. All right, and since we have a lot of color on top, but when I start to do the detail, my hand gonna do a smash on the paper and it's gonna ruin my work. So you better have another piece of clean papers so I can place the paper right under my hand, so when I start to do the shading, my hand will just smash on the clean paper and nothing will going to ruin your joint. All right, so we're gonna start to do the pom-pom right here. All right, let me zoom in. All right, so I have my 3B pencil, remember? We're gonna use 3B and let's see. So that's the center line, right? The center point. And let's do a little bit like the sun ray. And remember, I can move my papers all the way as I need. Very short, a little bit shadings, a little bit coloring, some light, some long, some short, some thick. All right, so I finished my first layer. Then I can start to do the second layer. Same thing, I'm gonna color a little bit dark, a little bit bright, very freestyle. It will look like the sun rays. So everything is coming out or going in the point that we have. Alright, so as you see, I finished it. It looks like the firework, right? But let's see, because we already have the shadow right under it, so you can see it looks like 3D. We have the shadow, we have the highlight, but around the edge, if you have the soft eraser, looks like that, the gummy erasers. Alright, you can shape the gummy erasers like that. Looks like the needle or like the knife. Okay, then I can erase a little bit around to show a little bit white color. Somewhere, but not everywhere, okay? Just somewhere. So it will look much more brighter right there, okay? If you don't have the soft eraser and you only have the hard eraser, that's okay. Just use the corner to do it. All right, then we're done with the pom-pom, so we have to move down to do the hats itself, okay? All right. Same thing, I'm gonna keep using 2B pencil. Alright, so it has the texture, so let's see how I'm doing it. It will look like that. Curve lines. Alright, it doesn't have to be exactly the same because we make it so sometimes it will not look exactly the same, especially it's man-made. Just alright, and we're done with the liners. Now we have to do one at a time. Alright, let's see. Sending, we stay with the 2B pencil. Alright. So we're gonna do something looks like the little Y. So keep your hand a little bit bright. So it looks like the letter Y. Just keep adding it all the way down. Right, then we have to add in a little bit shadings under the line, just a little bit. So they are not just a line, they have the little bit colors, so it will look like the shadow. Okay, then we're gonna do exactly the same thing on the second liners. Right, a bunch of the letter Y, very, very light. And shadings. It's gonna take a while because it's lots of them. I'm gonna shade it a little bit to celebrate the left and the right. So don't do it too dark because we already have the big basic shadow right under it. It will show, but we just add in the texture to make the color looks more like more detailing. All right, when I'm done, then I'm shading the shadow in this liner on the right. Very, very light. All the way down. Okay, so which means I have to keep repeating to the end on the right. Alright, so as you see, because we have the base color right on this, so we can separate the color already. The right hand side looks a little bit darker, the left one looks brighter. Alright, so we're gonna do exactly the same thing that for the folding part at the bottom. We're gonna add in the liners. Same thing, we can have the liners. A little bit curved. Just a little bit curved. Alright, so we're gonna repeat it whatever we did on the top. Right, a quick remind, quick shading on the side a little bit. Right, then we color a little bit like letter Y. It doesn't have to be that clear, but we have the basic color. Looks like that. Okay, now we can start. Alright, so after we're done, then you can just balance, make sure it looks okay. Alright, so we can have a little bit shadow, a little bit darker on the side. And when I do it, because it's like the kitten, right? So it looks like that. So when I do the shadow, I didn't trace it, looks very smooth. I have the a little bit bumpy light. See, I look at making it looks a little bit bumpy. And maybe on the side could be a little bit smoother. The same, gonna be a little bit bumpy. Then I can start to do the shadow on the side. So it looks like my hat is placing on the table. Okay, dark, medium, light. So sketch is all about the color value, dark, medium, light. So don't forget that. Now it can be more clear, and then I can do the same thing on the bottom. A little bit wiggle line. They are not going to be smooth and straight. Alright, so that is the hat. So I can show you in this angle so you can see more. So we can show the texture, right? So we don't feel like it's made by the wood or something very hard because we have a lot of thin. Alright, so I same thing, I can add a little bit curvy line in between, but I'm not going to trace everywhere. I just add a few of them. To show more textures. It's not going to be perfectly straight. Sometimes I trace the top, sometimes I trace at the middle. Same thing there. I just did a little bit wavy line. Alright, so that's the hats for today. You can find the spot to sign the name and write down the date.
Thank you for watching. That's email us to get your feedback. See you next time.